Approximately 1 million Rohingya refugees have fled persecution and violence in Myanmar after the Rohingya conflict. Bangladesh's refugee camp was built for the protection and safety of the most vulnerable. Yet Rohingya women and young girls are constantly facing sexual violence and harassment, even forced into marriage and being lured to brothels for money. For this project, our group will discuss about the sexual violence in Rohingya refugee camps. Rohingya refugee camps in Bangladesh is now home to the world's largest refugee camps. There are approximately 900,000 refugees, 55% being children. It is known that every woman in one camp is either a survivor or an eyewitness of sexual assault and rape. So what are the causes? We will first talk about socioeconomic factors. As there is an absence of an efficacious legal system, there is no proper punishment if someone commits a crime, and decision-making is up to the camp leader called Majis. Poverty results in increased polygamy, child marriage, and economically active women, resulting more exposure to sexual violence and harassment. Women's increase in paid work has not come in hand with greater empowerment. Next, we will look at cultural factors. In a very patriarchal society, marriage is often the only means for Rohingya women to guarantee their financial and physical safety. Domestic violence is prevalent, and abused women do not speak up in fear of divorce. Generally, women require a man's permission to visit places such as health centers, so they also have limited access to medical treatment. Lack of education results in ignorance of children's own rights as well as increased exposure to child labor in early marriage. Without schools, children lack a safe space to study and socialize. Possible solutions include first, informing community on sexual and reproductive health and social impacts of child marriage, also followed by education about gender equality. Second, providing a space for people to go and seek treatment and education. Third, increasing access to Bangladesh's legal system in order to provide citizenship and basic human rights for refugees. Lastly, enhancing legislation of sexual and reproductive health for refugees. For our final solution policy, we decided to set up a center for protection, treatment, counseling, and education about sexually transmitted infections, cultural values with gender differences, as well as legal advice for sexual violence cases. What are the windows of opportunity for this policy? For geographical factor, most refugee camps are located in remote areas where legal services and healthcare services are limited and of poor quality. For educational factor, many refugees are not familiar with the legal system of Bangladesh, and there is little awareness on sexual violence. For economic factor, this policy is called upon due to lack of financial means from the Bangladesh government to help refugees. In that case, how will different stakeholders contribute to this plan? MSF is expected to cooperate by providing medication and contraceptives so we can accumulate information of the stories of victims during the counseling and treatment sessions. Volunteers will provide education such as information about STIs and cultural and religious values about gender differences. WHO and UNOCHA are expected to provide funding for doctors, teachers, and transportation. They can also help observe the progress of the policy implementations. The reports of the camps will provide the public with information regarding how the conditions are improving with the intervention, which would hopefully bring the refugees more attention and support. The budget will mainly include resources for building the Center for Protection, transportation for the staff and restocking of resources, resources for treatment, and finally maintenance of the building. This budget plan reflects CEIC data. Funding will mainly come from World Health Organization. By presenting our budget plan, we can come to terms with them funding our intervention. For additional funding, we can apply for grants from NGOs, such as Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Thank you for watching our video.